Hiya, Lorree here, welcome back. I hope you are all well and looking forward to today's video, which as you can see is part 3 of our £10 junk journal challenge, where we're taking it back to the basics and we're trying to make a junk journal completely from Poundland supplies, second-hand stores, things like that. Things that you can get for relatively cheap without having to break the bank to make a beautiful journal. So I am on part 3 now, and Lorree's part 3 will be linked below, so definitely check that out. She's also building a journal using like second-hand shops and things like that. I think hers comes up to a lot less than £10 or $10. She's doing a soft cover journal, whereas we are doing a hardback journal and using Poundland supplies, and as well as a few free supplies. And in our last video we added our cover to our journal and started making our signatures. So our signatures are right here, and obviously this is them in their raw style. They haven't been trimmed or anything. But one thing that we still want to add is a sort of double-sided pocket. So that is something that basically would go into your journal, and for instance this is just a scrap from the cover, but I would kind of fold it like so, and then it would go into the journal signature like this, and then you would have a pocket here and a pocket here, and we're going to do that for each journal. So obviously it's not going to be as boring as that, I hope anyway, but we are going to be using wallpaper supplies, wallpaper strips, I guess, samples, that's the word I was looking for, that I got from Poundland in Braehead, which unfortunately has now shut down. But anywhere that you know that sells wallpaper and has it on display, like the rolls on display, you can take a sample for absolutely nothing and use it obviously in your craft supplies. It's a great resource. So here in the UK you could go to, like, for instance, B&M's, B&Q, Homebase, places like that. Anywhere that you know that sells wallpaper and has a roll that is open and on display, you can take a sample of that and use it as obviously decorative paper, and like I say, it is completely free. So I got all of these samples from the Poundland that I was buying things from for completely free, along with this one which I used to cover the journal, which is still drying off to the side. I literally just finished filming part 2, so I thought I would get right on and film part 3 as I was in the rhythm. So I'm going to basically grab a couple of my favourites here, and we're going to make some pockets. So obviously these are far too big. I'm going to grab the smallest one I think at the moment and pop those to the side. Now we have 5 signatures, so we're going to want 5 pockets. So I'm going to grab my scissors. I might even be able to use this actually to make one, because I love this. This is just so pretty. I definitely wanted to use it again, and a pocket might be just the ticket. So we can also make some floating pockets and things like that once the journal is ready and we have our signatures sort of set up. So I'm going to just grab an extra piece of tea-dyed paper. My goodness, Lorree, really? See, this is why I didn't put this one in the signature, because it looked far too big. But basically I just need something to give me an indication of how wide our pages are. So as you can see, this page is roughly how wide we will need our signatures to be. This is the book that I took the cover from. So our pages needs to be smaller, if not the same size as this piece of paper, in order to fit inside our cover. So that's what I'm going to use as a sort of guide. I don't want them to be as big as the pages, like height wise, but I do want them to be pretty wide if I can get them that way. I mean, some of them I might make the full size, but for the most part I just want a length to be the right size. So I'm just going to fold this in half, and I'm going to grab my bone folder, if I can remember where the heck I put it. Which I can't, so I'm not going to get it. So I'm just going to use my nail. So this is obviously as wide as we want it to be. So obviously if I fold this over, that's far too big. By the time this goes obviously into our spine, we're not going to be able to get anything into that at all. So I'm going to pull it in slightly more, so it's just shy of the size that we need it to be. And then I'm also going to fold this down, and that will be our pocket. So I'm going to trim a tiny bit off because I want the pocket to be reinforced with that fold anyway, but obviously I don't want it to be too bulky. So that is our first pocket. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fold our other pocket by lining it up on the other side, and then I can fold it and then let's just make sure that that lines up. No. Dang it. Over now. There we go. So I'm going to trim off this excess piece right here and here. And then again, fold this down. And now we have two pockets. So I'm going to add my glue, which is here. I'm just going to add Pritt stick to this little bit here. I'm just going to grab Pritt stick, and again these are from the pound shop, and I'm just going to add glue right there and fold it over, and that's obviously like a little reinforcement flap, just to make sure that the pocket's nice and sturdy. So obviously with people putting things in and out of it, it will get you want it to be nice and strong so it doesn't tear. And then we fold it over. Now there's two ways you can go about obviously doing this. You can add a little bit of glue here and a little bit of glue here, and that will be a pocket. Or what you can do is add tape, like washi tape, or even just sellotape, and that way you've got like the full scope of the pocket. Or you can take your scraps and make little hinges, or even just any paper. You don't need to use your actual paper, but that's what I'm going to make some hinges using the paper. So obviously I'm going to line it up and trim it off. And then just fold it in half. And then I'm going to add my glue. see how that looks. There we go. Give that a second to kind of grab hold since it's not exactly straight. I might need to use a stronger glue for this, because it's not exactly normal paper. It is obviously wallpaper. Normally, obviously, paper to paper, you would only need a Pritt stick, but this is slightly thicker paper with a kind of glossy edge to it, so I don't know yet. But we will see. So I'm going to do the exact same thing to the other strip and pop it on the other side. And just bring it right to the edge, and like I say, fold it over and make sure everything looks fine. And then I'm going to add a little bit more glue right there because it's picking up. And then I'm going to add glue to this side, and then fold my pocket over. And I'm actually going to grab a couple of clips. And that way I can move on to the next side. So, again, I'm just going to use this side because it's smaller. Cut two straps and fold them in half, and I'm folding them so that the nice part is the part that will be seen. If anything, it shouldn't be seen, but if it does peek out at all, that's the part that will get seen, not like this part here. Just make sure that that fold is nice and visible for me. And then again, just adding a good amount of glue. Popping it down. You slide that down a little bit because it's not on the right bit. There we go. And then just making sure that that fits in, which it does. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side. Sorry if my head gets in the way here. And that way, it's just so that I can see what I'm doing. But that one's fine as well. So again, just making sure that they're in the right position. And then going back in with a generous amount of glue. Making sure that the edges are pushed in. And then I can grab these little guys and do the exact same thing. Because the ones should have dried by now. So let's see. No, I need a stronger glue. Absolutely. So, where's my... I'm going to use my Uhu, which you can buy in the pound shop. I did buy my Uhu in the pound shop, so technically it still counts. So I'm just going to peel these back up. And I'm just adding a little bit. Not going crazy. Glue here. Making sure it's kissing that edge. And then I'm literally having to like kind of delicately tear it up because it is sticking somewhat, but it's not going to stick for very long, and I want it to obviously be secure. So there we are. I put a little bit more right here because apparently this little bit does not like to be stuck down. And again, adding glue here. Here. And there. Oops. There we are. Need to do the other side again. Oops. My hands are all sticky now. So like I said, you can get this in the pound shop, although it doesn't come in this bottle. I don't like the bottle that it comes in. I will show you the bottle it comes in though, so you can obviously find it in just a second. But yeah, I don't like the bottle it comes in. It's just like a toothpaste kind of bottle, and it just does my nut in because every time you use it you need to make sure you put the lid right back on. So it looks like this, and it comes in a little box that is exactly the same. It's just a little yellow box. But yeah, whenever you use it you need to put the lid on right away, otherwise it will start coming out. So this is a 3-in-1 glue, fabric glue, kind of like Fabri-Tacs or Fabri-Fix or whatever they're called. They're all the same glue, they just have a different title for some weird ass reason. But yeah, so it was one of those bottles because I love that glue as well. And I much prefer this bottle to the other one. So I just decanted it and poured it in. And the good thing is as well that this bottle actually holds like 2.5 of one of the original Oohoo's, so it lasts a bit longer as well because there's more in it. So let's see how that goes. Obviously if you wanted you could definitely take this to your sewing machine. You could even sew it by hand, do like a little whip stitch, which is probably what I'll do on one or two of them because I really like that effect. But yeah, so that is our first pocket page done. So obviously this is what it'll look like on the other side. You can add another pocket to it if you want, but I think I'm actually just going to leave it as is because I just think it's beautiful. And obviously if I give this journal away or if I use it myself, whenever it comes to using the actual page, then I'll know what I want to do to it then. Whenever I use a journal, I like to have my pages blank so that I can do whatever I want to them without having to modify them in some way. So if it's got a pocket or something like that on it, I don't mind so much when it's like little pages like this, because then I can add something here and have like a hinge or something like that. But when it's a full page and it's got like a pocket on it, I generally actually deconstruct it in some way and make it into like a journal spot or something like that. But yeah, so there's not going to be too much decorations going on inside this journal. So that's our first one. So 1 down, 4 to go. So next we have this page, which is obviously quite similar. It is a different page obviously, but it is very similar to the last one. So I'm just going to cut this down along that line there, and I'm going to take my page here, and this is to be obviously roughly this size. So obviously I've got a fold right there, which I think is the fold I'm actually going to follow, and that way it's not got two folds in it. And then I'm going to do the same here. And I think what I'm actually going to do is bring that right in a little bit more, and I'm going to tape it down the centre, and that way when I do bind this in, this is going to be like a full page pocket. So I'm actually going to fold this up at the bottom just a tiny bit, and this will be my flap for gluing. So obviously I don't need two, so I'm just going to open this up, and I'm going to make a little angle cut here and then cut along that folded line. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing there, and then I'm going to do a little V in the middle there, and then that is the bottom of my pocket. To kind of fix that a little bit there because I've not cut it right. And there we go. So I need to kind of just really fix that bit there, and then trim that excess again because I botched it. And there we go. So now what I need to do is just tidy up that top piece. And there we go. So I'm going to add my glue. I'm going to add a little bit, just a little bead going down the side here as well. There we go. And then the same, just a tiny bead along the very edge of the page there. and then on the little flap. And we now have 2 full page pockets. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to add a bit of tape right along this centerpiece, just so that when I am binding it, I don't accidentally mess up my pocket in some way. Since there's that little tiny gap right there, it's just going to help hold it in place. So now we have 2 pockets, 2 pocket pages rather. And again, I'm going to grab a different one. Again, it looks very similar, but we're going with it. I really should have probably used this one as my cover because it's probably the one I have most of. And let's see. I think I'm going to cut it again right where that fold is. Oh wow, that's it. And then I'm going to grab a page from my signature. So one of these pages, actually no, I'm going to grab a spare one because I don't want to mess it up. So I want this one to be the same size as my page. So I want it to be roughly the same size as my page. But I want this extra bit because I want to fold up into a pocket. So I'm going to grab my ruler here. And a pen. And I'm going to draw my line so that I know to cut straight along that line. There we go. So now I'm just going to tidy this piece up here. Let me see how that's looking. So now I need to fold my page there. So I need this to fold right on that fold again. Let's see how that looks. Is that still the right size? Yep. So we're good. So I'm just going to kind of break my one rule and use this side of my scissors. I don't like doing this because it can knock off the balance of your scissors. But so now I'm just going to do a very, very thin V. And it just takes that bulk out of the centre so that when I fold it, it's not as bulky. And then I'm going to do the same little trick with the hinge. I won't use the same wallpaper, obviously. So I'm going to trim. Actually, I'm only going to trim one of each side. It'll be more like a tuck spot than a pocket, I guess. So add my glue. Add my glue. And then I can grab my little clips until that dries. This dries relatively fast, but still, it means I can move on faster than just waiting on it. Especially because obviously it is a stubborn piece of paper, so I don't want to be waiting and holding on to it longer than I need to. So just making sure that tucks right in there. There we go. So we now have three or four, I can't remember, what's that? 1, 2, yes, 3. So 1, 2, 3. So now we have 3 pockets. So obviously I could add a little bit of glue going up here, but I quite like having it as a tuck spot, because once we do actually start stitching in this part here, it will tighten up here anyway. So I'll just leave it as a little tuck spot. So we have 3 different page pockets now. And we still have 2 to go. So what I think I'm actually going to try and do for my next 2 signatures is have like double page pockets. So instead of like the page opening just like this, we would then open another page. So that's my plan, or my hope, for the next page pockets. Hopefully these are dry now. Like I said, they don't take long to dry, so, and yet so I'm just going to pop this one to the side until it's dry. And we can move on to the next one. So I've got this one here, which is relatively large, so hopefully, I see actually, because it's the bottom, this bottom part here is the bit where we have the most paper. So if I was to have a page here, would I get another page? I think I would. So I'm going to grab my ruler again. And I'm going to just pop this kind of in the middle, just so that I keep it straight, and use that as a guide to cut across. Again, I'm just using a pen, just a black pen here, just to draw my line. Obviously you can use a pencil, you can use whatever you want. You could fold it if you don't have access to a pen or a pencil. You could definitely just do a folded line, and that way you know where to cut. If your paper is decent, like not too thick, you could even rip it right across that line. then I'm going to add my pen and just trim right along that edge and hope that both sides are wide, will be wide enough. There we go. So we now have our page. So this is our first page right here. And I've made it a little tiny bit too tall. So I'll just go back in. Right. So that should be nice and snug now. There we go. Okay, so now we need to do there. So if I fold it just a little bit further in, and then that should be fold. Then what I could even do is have this be like a pocket. No, I'm just going to cut that bit off. And I'll add a pocket. Okay, so that's one page. So I'm going to line this up and then fold over. And that is now my other page. So I need to make it slightly smaller. There we go. So we now have this to go in our signature, and it should be brilliant. So when it goes into the signature, it will go in like this, actually, because that's upside down. And then you'll open it up, and then you'll be able to open it up again. And then what I'm going to do is put a pocket on one of these two pages as well. So let's see here. Going to take a little cut off of that, and then I'm going to line that up there, and cut that out. And then I've got pocket. Straighten that bottom part. And there we go. I'm just making sure I need to kind of cut that down just a tiny touch. And there we are. So this one I am just going to glue the edges because I don't want it to be too bulky, considering it's already going to be inside a fold. So I'm just adding glue right across the edge, all three sides. And then I'm just going to line this up with this corner right here and stick it down. Got glue all over my desk. And then we can move on and do this one. So I think I'm actually going to make a side pocket maybe, or maybe even just a tuck spot. I think I might make a tuck spot rather than a full-on pocket. So if I just fold that there and that there, cut that little duke it out. You can see what size I want it to be. So I think I'm just going to cut a diagonal straight from there. Like so. And I need to kind of bring this bit up just a tiny touch because of the way the bottom kind of sits. There we go. Just need to trim that bit off again. And then I can glue it down. I would love to know what kind of things you would want to do in this journal with the bits and bobs that we have, obviously. Like, what would you do if you were making this journal from scratch with only the items that I've shown you? Would you do the same as me, or would you do something different? I would absolutely love to know any ideas you have for the journal. I'd be very interested to see what you would do in this situation. Give that a second to dry. And these are nice and dry now. No, they're not. What the heck? Why are these not drying? Might just take these bits away and just stick them down like that, because that should hold. Without the hinges, they should hold fine. It's annoying. I mean, I know it's a thicker sort of, I don't know, like, I don't know how to explain it. It's almost like a fabric feel on this side of the wallpaper, like a satin kind of feel, so maybe that's why. Oh, it's annoying either way. Not happy about it, but oh well. So we now have 4 pocket pages. And we just need one more. So this is the last one. And again, I want to make something that kind of pops out, folds out. Oh my goodness, I've got a lot of this one. So yeah, I want something that kind of folds out. Oh, hold on. Get my glue away. So let's see here. What size do I want this to be? Where's my ruler? Ah, there you are. Okay, so there we go. So I'm going to trim that bit off. Okay, so that's probably still too large, but it's fine. So it's fine for now. So again, I'm going to make it so that the page flips out. So again, I need to kind of have a little fold there to kind of follow. So basically this is the fold, so I'm going to bring it in just a tiny touch further than the actual fold, and that way I know it won't be peeking out of the journal anyway. So now I'm just making it slightly shorter than the actual spine area, and then I'm going to trim this bit off. And we now have our first page. So now I'm just going to do the same on the second page. This page is obviously a little bit smaller because it's been torn, but that's fine with me. It is a junk journal after all. So again, just folding that and trying to kind of make sure it's nice and level. And again, just folding shy off the spine and cutting that excess off. And there we go. So now what I'm going to do is cut off this bottom excess. That's fine. Okay. So I'm going to try and straighten that a little bit up a wee bit. That's better. So now we have this. And let's see here. Yep, it fits just fine. So now we need to decide what to put on the inside. So I'm going to take these clips off of here because these should be dry. I say should, but it didn't dry last time, so let's see, here we go. It seems okay. Okay, so now we have this one, which obviously goes in the signature like this, and then you have your fold out. I might actually fold it because it's got a natural fold there, so then I would have a little pocket here. So I think I'm going to do that because it seems to have that on both ends, that little tiny annoying fold piece. So yeah, I think I'm just going to turn in the edges like so, and then that will be your pockets. And we now have a page pocket for each signature, which also takes us up to 10 pages per signature. Obviously we can still go in and add things once it's bound as well, like more pockets and things like that. But I think I'm going to have to call it a day for this one because this has gone on for quite a bit. And in the next video we will bind our journal and put our end pages in and things like that, and we will basically be able to put the finishing touches to it. But I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope you enjoyed making these page pockets. So this is the one we just made, and then we have this one, which again flips out both pages, and then we have this one and this one, and then last but not least we have this one with the two top loading pages, which I might put a little like half moon in those so that it's obvious, or more obvious, that they are pockets. But yeah, I really love how these pocket pages turned out, and I hope you guys enjoyed me watching along and hopefully crafting it along with me. And like I said, next week we will put these into their signatures and start finishing the journal by binding it and putting the end papers in. But don't forget to check out Lorree's part 3 video. I think she only did 3 videos and she's finished already. I know she's a whiz, but I am not quite near her quickness yet. So yeah, definitely check out part 3 of Lorree's videos. And like I said, if you haven't checked out part 1 and 2, I will make a playlist and pop them all in together so that you can see both mine and Lorree's videos together, like one after the other kind of thing, and kind of watch it in sequence if you would like to do that. But yeah, I hope you are well, and I will hopefully see you again soon. Take care and God bless. Bye.